I'm Jane, and today we're going to talk about the second half of my What I Learned my freshman year of college video. Today we're going to talk about some of the sentimental things that I learned in college. A lot of you probably know that I go to a small Christian university, and I think a lot of the things you go through at a school like that, and especially in the Christian atmosphere, are different than what you go through at a public school or a larger secular school. But I'm just going to talk to you about some of the things that I personally went through and I think I learned a lot from. I think the first thing you need to know about me is I am super, super shy. I was voted quietest in my class in high school, and I am petrified of talking to people. And I've had friends, but I've always been super shy, and most people can't get 2 words out of me. And that's one of the first things I think I learned. I realized when I got to college is the power of talking to people, the power of at least trying to make friends, because all of a sudden you're in this situation where you know nobody and you have to make friends. And it's amazing how quickly that bond formed and how amazing my friendships are with these girls that I've gotten to go to college with. And I love every one of them. And it's hard to love somebody. I learned that. Because once you start to love somebody, you don't want to see the other person in pain. You don't want to see them go through something that's hard on them, because it's hard on you too. I've learned that you have to love people. And that's really important, to love them and to trust them and to know that they're there for you. Having a friendship where they care so much about you, it's so amazing. These friendships I developed at school, where they loved me and where I loved them, it's amazing. And I had to learn to trust them, and I had to know that they loved me. And I had to learn that I had to be vulnerable with these people. It was hard for someone shy me to even talk about my favorite color, let alone what was going on in my life and what was bugging me. But I had friends who loved me enough that they knew something was wrong. And they took the time to try and at least get me to be vulnerable. But I had to make that step. I had to be the one to finally break down and tell someone. But the amazing part about finally being vulnerable with somebody is they'll reciprocate. It's the most amazing thing in the world when you finally put your trust in somebody and confide in them and tell them what's bugging you, what's wrong. They'll come back and tell you. They'll put their trust in you, and all of a sudden you've built a relationship that's the most amazing thing ever, full of trust and love. Because loving somebody, there's so much to it. There's trust and love and being vulnerable. And sometimes being vulnerable is very, very hard. Sometimes there are things that you don't want anybody to know. Because sometimes you're afraid that if you tell somebody, you're afraid of your view being changed, their view of you being changed. That if they know what's truly going on inside of you, they're not going to look at you the same way again. But I learned that if somebody truly loves you and you've truly built a relationship, that's built on more than just giggles and laughs, when it's built in faith in one another, in faith in Jesus, they're not going to change their opinion of you. They're still going to love you. They're still going to want to be your friend. And when you open up and they open up and they tell you what's happened in their past, what's going on in their present, it's amazing. It's just amazing to have a friendship like that. And I pray every one of you one day will. But I learned of a lot of other things in college. Most of them involved my friends, I guess. But I learned that sometimes God's got a bigger plan for us than we'll ever know. I learned that sometimes God will say, Jahane, I got something for you in store that you will never imagine. One day, God may come up to you and just say, Jahane, well, I won't say Jahane, but he'll say, I want you to do something that's not what you think you are. I want you to be a YouTube star, as shy and scared as you are. I want you to major in something that requires you to talk. Like, main thing is talking. I want you to be somebody for somebody who needs you. I want you to love people with that big heart of yours. But don't be afraid, because I have a plan for your life. I learned I have to put my trust in God, because there are times when I lost myself. Because so much had changed, I wasn't quite sure who in the world I was anymore. But I learned to love that person that God made me. To love that person that God was leading down a path. To learn that God adores each and every one of us. You see, guys, God taught me last year that He is in total control of everything. And even though I wasn't sure where in the world my life was headed, He did. I don't know where I'll be next year at this point in time. I don't know where my life will have gone. But I know I can put my faith and trust in Him. And when I feel broken, He's there. And because I have amazing friends, they're there for me too. They love me, and they're there to comfort me and respect me and take care of me. Because there are nights when you're so scared, or you're just so tired and stressed out, or there's something really going on, that there's a friend there with a hug who will say, it's gonna be okay. Because I learned sometimes you don't think it's gonna be okay, and in the end it always is. I learned that you may not have control over every situation. I keep repeating myself on that. You're not in control. I learned that. Jahane, give up. I learned that sometimes you have to hand over the reins. You have to trust other people. You have to put your trust, your faith, your whole life in God. You are not the boss of your life. No matter how big and important you think you are not in control. God is. He has a plan for every one of our lives, and we are not the ones who get to decide what it is. I knew that was going to happen. You are not in control of your life. God is. God put amazing people in your life who are going to love you, who are going to teach you, We're gonna shape you and mold you and be there for you. But one day, they may leave. They may move on with their lives. But that's okay, because you have someone in your life who is never gonna leave you, who's always gonna be by your side. That's Jesus. And he has a plan for you. And even though you're not sure who you are, and you're not sure if you even want to exist anymore, because you just are so confused, God has a plan, and he knows what's going on, and he loves you. And he'll put people in your life to tell you that. He'll put people in your life to give you that hug when you need it. And when you don't need them anymore, they'll go. But we need people. That's what I learned. We need people who love us. We need people who care for us. But above that, we need to put our trust in God. We need to put our faith in God, because he has the plan. We don't. He has all the love in the world. No matter how confused and broken we are, we can go to him. Because when we're broken, he is the healer. When we're confused, he can straighten things out. Because he loves you. Because he cares for you. And when you're crying, he's listening. And when you're frustrated, he's listening. Because our lives are so small compared to his great love. Because he has a plan for every one of us. We don't know what that is. And it may be something crazy. But he's there for us. I learned that. And even when we screw up, and when we don't get what we want in life, we have to realize that maybe that's not what he wanted for us. He has a plan. And as soon as you kneel down at that altar and say, God, come into my heart, come live with me, tell me what to do, he can work his glorious plan through you. It's a magical thing. He can say, I love you, my child, and I have a plan for your life. And I have 3 more years of college to figure that out, and then afterwards as well, but he loves you. And there are people out there who love you too. Just put your trust in them and tell them what's wrong. And always send it up to God and tell him you love you too. There are so many amazing things God has in store for your life. I learned that. And I can't wait to see where he sends me. And I love him. And I love those people who've helped me. Guys, just remember that Jesus loves you. It's not just a song. It's not just something you put on a t-shirt. It's the truth. Jesus loves you, and he's never going to give up on you. You are his precious child, and he'll love you forever and ever. Have a blessed day.